everyone. Welcome to the SIS-STORY Series, where real women share their stories and their making SIS-STORY throughout their lifetime in real time, one chapter at a time. I am your host, Ebony Tate, founder of the mental health brand Mastering Me and my women's community support group, Suffering in Silence. Please follow me on Instagram. I have two Instagram um, social media profiles. So one is at Mastering Me Brand, and the other one is SIS_royalty for my women's community. Today's special guest is a clinical psychotherapist, podcaster, creative, content creator, mother, entrepreneur, public speaker, and mental health and community advocate. Please give it up for the audacious Black girl herself, Miss Amanda Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you so much for doing this for me. I just wanted to showcase you in the best light ever and give you your flowers while you're here. And yes, I'm so ready for this.
Yes,
Um,
thanks for having me.
yes, and before we begin, please let the people know who you are, what you do, where can people follow you and watch your content.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I am Amanda, licensed clinical social worker, aka a psychotherapist, clinical psychotherapist. Um, what I do, many things, but at this season in my life, outside of my regular 9 to 5, I started a platform helping divorced women or women that are trying to get divorced or separated or just navigating a difficult period in their life, especially if they're in a relationship. It's on my communities on TikTok. It's called Just Manda, so Just_Manda, Manda. And I'm sure I'll give Ebony my information if you want to follow me on there. But that's where I share my own divorce story, and just how I'm navigating life after divorce. There's a lot of community there. Like just when I started sharing my story, I had no idea where things would lead, but man, has it really been successful over there. And it's been amazing, the community that I've been able to build on there, the connections I've been able to make for women that are getting free. And that's all I'm here for, women that are getting free. I also created a Substack called Marriage Death by a Thousand Cuts, and also a new podcast coming out of the same name where I'm sharing the cut stories. And I can go into that a little bit more later, but the cut stories that us women who are married or divorced or divorcing, separated, navigate in relationships that are not big things, but they're these still emotional experiences of neglect, emotional experiences of abandonment. For a lot of women, it's emotional abuse that people don't tend, or society doesn't tend to look at as reasons for divorcing or leaving someone. But there are these small things that happen over and over again that lead to the slow erosion of a marriage and the slow erosion of yourself, your identity over the course of time. So that's really what I'm doing right now and building, and also building a healing and outside community. Because as we're healing, we still need to be outside, because that's how you find out where you are on your healing journey and in that growth. So that's just a little bit about what I'm doing right now in this season of my life. I continue to evolve and expand. So
Yes, you always do. And congratulations on all of your endeavors that you have going on at this time.
thank
And
you.
it's so beautiful seeing your growth firsthand and our conversations that we always had and how deep and profound they were. They deserve to be, spread to the world to a
Thank
bigger
you.
audience.
Thank you.
Um, no problem. My first question is, what inspired your journey into therapy, podcasting, and content creation?
Mm, I think. Well, those are three things. Let me think about therapy. To become a therapist, that was, I mean, I worked in corporate for a while and in marketing and sales, and something I recognized there, it was hard for me. It was not easy. But what I recognized with my patterns in corporate marketing and sales, in the corporate environment, working in marketing and sales, is that I was one that always built relationships with people, and that's how I was able to make the sale or make whatever. And when I left that role, I said, okay, that's where my heart is. It's developing and cultivating relationships. And I was always curious about people. And I always feel like like being a therapist chose me. Like I didn't choose to be a therapist because over the course of my life, there were instances where people would just spill the beans to me, like spill everything to me without even me asking a question or anything. They just felt so comfortable around me. And one moment in particular, I remember leaving a grocery store and this woman in her car came up to me and just started telling me her life. And I was like, what is going on? I was like, okay, this is a pattern. Let me figure out how I can make money with this, how I can make a career. And that really is kind of what led me into being a therapist. With everything else with storytelling and podcasting, I've always been a believer in creating what it is I seek. And for me, I have my first podcast, Audacious Black Girl, that I've had for about 5 years. That one is on the tail end of things right now. But I wanted to create community. I'm always about creating community, always about elevating us as women, especially as Black women. So that's what Audacious Black Girl was about. It was about a period in time in my life where that is, what I was feeling and being audacious and brave and courageous and living a whole life. And then now it's pretty similar. But what I'm doing now is really focus on what I'm navigating in real life right now. And also, I think I'm also tapping into this awakening that I think that's happening for women in general, especially married women, and just kind of understanding that it's okay to center yourself in your life. Like it's okay to leave toxic relationships. It's okay to acknowledge those things. It's okay to look for information so you can understand what you're navigating. Because one thing I run into, something I experienced was like, you feel so alone and you suffer in silence with these situations that you're navigating in a marriage or relationship, but sharing your story connects people. And I found that sharing my story is connecting people around this consensus of, oh, wow, like what I'm dealing with isn't normal, it's not healthy, it's toxic. It may not look like what society or people think is supposed to look like if you're, having a difficulty in a marriage or leaving a marriage, which is what cheating or physical abuse. Those are the reasons people think you should only leave a marriage or relationship. But it's so much more expansive than that. It looks so different for everyone. So creating community around that, and storytelling around that has been just really amazing, amazing so far. Really very healing for me. And it just allows me to just, share our voices, and to remind women that we are much more than who we're married to. We're much more than mothers. We're much more than these titles and roles that are constructed to and put on us that frankly keep us oppressed in many ways. And we can expand and evolve beyond that. So that's, where my journey is right now.
I love that, and it's so beautiful. I think so many women can relate to suffering in silence and wanting to have that ear or shoulder to cry on, or the assistance, the help. And I appreciate you for just putting yourself out there and sharing your story and encouraging women. Like there's life on the other side
There's
of
life on the
things.
other side. Absolutely. And that's what I think, that's what I like to highlight too, is like what life is like on this side. And it's beautiful. It is joyful. It is peaceful. So peaceful. And, when I'm connecting with women and they're seeing that, they're going, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can get there. And I always encourage them to do what is right for you. This isn't an easy journey. Like it took me a long time to get here, as you know, of many of our conversations. But I am here and I'm so grateful, so thankful, and I feel so blessed to have made it on the other side of things.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and I'm so happy for you,
Thank
going
you.
through that and transitioning into the woman that you are now. And my next question for you is, what does womanhood mean to you in this season of your life?
Hmm. What does womanhood mean to me in this season of my life? Oh man. It means I get to define it. Like I get to define what it means to be a woman outside of, I get to define what it means to be Amanda. Amanda the woman, because I think many of us put ourselves on the back burner, especially when we're, in a relationship, married, a mother, like those things become, or caregivers, like those things become like such central part. They overarch everything. Like we put those things forward and put ourselves last. So right now in this season of my life, like because I chose myself, I'm choosing myself every single day, and that looks different every single day. But no matter what, I'm choosing me, whether that's how am I going to be joyful today? What idea am I going to work on today? What, you know what I mean? It's like every day it's Amanda, Amanda, Amanda. And being a mother, because I'm still a mom, ex-wife, like those things are, well, ex-wife, that's past, but like being a mother is what's the most important thing, another one of the most important things to me, but it's not the thing that I'm always leading with now. I think I always led with those roles, and now I get to choose differently. I'm still a mom, I'm still doing amazing as a mom, and I get to be Amanda fully. So yeah, that's what womanhood means to me at this season in my life.
Yes, and it sounds like you're very intentional every day about how you want your day to go, or how you want to feel, what you want your vibe to be, or what your aesthetic to be. And I
Yeah,
definitely see that.
thank you. Like I definitely try more so to focus on like how am I actually feeling today? What do I have the energy for today? Because not every day I have the energy to be posting videos or writing the newsletters or podcasting. I just have to determine, okay, what's one step I can take toward that today? Because say I don't have the energy. So that's another part of it too. In my womanhood is really tapping into my intuition more and more because I think we've been made as women to detach from our intuition, from detach from trusting ourselves, right? Like we're a lot of us being gaslit, not just like in relationships, but by society, right? Our choice being taken away by the government and politics and all those things. And like even just other people in general, like the limitations they put on us as women, like, and that disconnects us from what we truly feel inside. That disconnects us from accessing um, that feeling that's coming up that's telling you something doesn't feel right here, right? Or this does feel right. So tapping into your intuition and me tapping into my intuition every day is my superpower. It is our superpower as women. And there's a reason why they want to keep us oppressed and small in these institutions, even the institution of marriage, right? Like we take on the partner's last name, some of us, right? And it is important for us to trust our intuition and tap into our own feral or wild womanly nature, 'cause that's who we are. So tapping into that every day, like, do I have the energy for this? No, but I do have the energy for this. And being okay with that. Being okay with that is a big one. Especially as someone that's like, I'm a go-getter. Like I gotta get it done. But like I burn out quickly and I need to be in this for the long haul. So I gotta trust my intuition and follow and lead with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I know I have my moments where I feel like I don't have it, I don't have the energy in me, but then, the first thing I go to is like, oh, I'm lazy. And it's like, no, maybe you are burnt out. Maybe you do
Hmm.
need rest. Maybe you do need to relax. Like just at least take a breather,
At
you
least take a
know?
breather. If you can't stop, pause.
Yeah,
If you can't stop, pause, and that's okay.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. Mother's Day just recently passed. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you so much.
welcome. My next question for you is how has motherhood shaped the woman you are today?
Mm. Man, that's a good question. I think the first thing that came to mind is years ago. Well, for me, really evolving and becoming my authentic self. My oldest daughter, sorry, she's almost 21 now. I remember I was relaxing my hair. She's at maybe 8 or 9. I was relaxing my hair and I kept her hair natural. And I remember a moment I was trying to just teach her to love her hair and like all these things. And then it hit me. And I was like, how am I trying to teach my daughter to love her natural hair when I'm constantly relaxing my hair? And that inspired me to go natural. And that was, oh my gosh, I guess 15 years ago or so. But it's those types of moments when like you have to, I wanted to do as I was saying, right? I wanted to lead by example. I wanted to be like just real and authentic. And I think being a mother, it just allowed me to tap into those moments and really identify, am I living up to my own standards? Am I living up to the things that I'm telling my children? And, I think with that, it allowed me to be more self-aware. It allowed me to make decisions and do things that were really much more in alignment with who I am authentically. Like I can't teach my children to be yourself and I'm not being myself. Like it's just a contradiction. So I think motherhood in that way, it allowed me to really be more self-aware and practice what I preach.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, what are some of the important lessons your children taught you?
Oh my gosh. Patience is one. Patience is a big one. And I think that we're always evolving. Like our environments are evolving, we're evolving. You know what I mean? Like who I remember I would tell myself all the time, who the child that I have today, they're going to be different tomorrow and the next day after, and next year. I have to evolve with them. Like I can't be, and with each child. I can't be the same mother every single day and they're changing. We have to move along motherhood together with our children. It is, for me, it is a collaboration. It is a collaboration. Outside of if you have a partner or not, with your child, it's a collaboration. Because if you are centering their care, if you are centering just the things that you're teaching them and how you just want them to grow into like a solid person or whatever the case might be, it has to be a collaboration. I am not going to dictate what you do, but I will try to support. I will try to, engage. I will try to lead, but this is your journey and let's do this together.
And that's a beautiful thing because I do commend millennial parents because we're changing the cycles that
Mhm,
we've had from other generations before us on
mhm.
how, we raise children and how we live our lives and how much more we want for ourselves regarding our dreams and goals and aspirations. So I really do commend us, our millennials, because
Mhm.
it's a different time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're much more aware, I think, especially when it comes to like mental health and a certain sense of freedom. You know what I mean? Like there's a different way that we were raised and grew up that I think millennial parents, I'm not speaking for all of them, but I think a lot of us are in collaboration with our children, good or bad, depends on how you look at it. I still have boundaries. I'll tell you that much. These kids still aren't going to talk to me any type of way, but we are
Right.
collaborating as we go through life because this little 5-year-old you might have now, guess what? They're going to be 25 and harder to reach, harder to teach at that point. So you got to start the collaboration with your child as you kind of go. And that collaboration looks like support. It looks like listening to them. It looks like allowing them to talk to you. It looks like allowing them in some capacity to learn what it is to talk with an adult without feeling like they're less powerful because as a therapist, I work with college students, and something I would see so often is these kids would get to college and not know how to talk to their professors, not know how to speak to adults. And I think a big part of that is respect, yes, right? But the fact that they couldn't speak to, like they couldn't even verbalize, some parts of that to me is like, how was it in your dynamic with your parents? Like, did they give you the space to speak? Did your opinions and your voice feel validated? And if it isn't validated from 5, 6, at whatever ages, they go into these spaces on their own and they're just like, mom is the word. I'm not going to be valued. So I'm not going to speak up in class. I'm not going to share my opinion or thoughts. I'm not going to ask the professor for help. So I do think that is really, really important too.
Yes, that's very essential. Um, Speaking of children, what qualities or characteristic traits do you believe that your children inherited from you?
So I got three of them. One is almost 21. That's my oldest daughter. My son is 18 and my youngest daughter is 12. Oh yeah, like they speak up. I would call them my little I'm a clinical social worker. Um that's my credentials. But I would say they're little social workers. Like they're always advocating for people, always learning more, really deep in like what's going on socially, politically, environmentally in their own way. Even my 12-year-old, sometimes I can be like, girl, calm down, please. But they speak up, they advocate, they fight for people, they fight for the communities that are oppressed. Like my oldest daughter, she is at Morgan State University, and her major is strategic communications, and she minors in women and gender studies. She's at Planned Parenthood. She's been there for a few years. She's always been that advocate. She has a virtual magazine called the F Word, and it's all about just feminine, right? And it's all about those that identify in the feminine energy. And my son, he's doing exercise science. He's like really technical. But he's so aware of what's happening in the world as well. And my youngest one, like she's ready to fight for anything that is disadvantaging to anyone. She will speak up. She will speak up and she'll say, no, that is not right. So I think they definitely inherited that for me, for sure. And asking questions. They're really curious kids.
And that's really good. It's good to have kids that know how to express themselves, tell you their feelings, stand up for what they believe in, no matter what, instead of, suffering in silence and keeping things, hidden, and I think that's a beautiful thing. They're evolving so fast.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. What do you hope your children learn from watching your sis story unfold?
Mm. That it's okay to choose yourself. That even though it's not easy, divorcing was the biggest thing I've ever done, most difficult decision I think I've ever made in my life, but I had to for my own self. And they're navigating. I think they're doing pretty well. Ups and downs, of course, because it's only been like 6 months, 6 or 7 months now since we divorced, and I maybe 8 months since I moved out. Um, and I just want them to know that it's okay to choose yourself, no matter how hard it is, that you will survive and you'll make it through. So that's what I really do hope.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, you got to choose yourself at all costs and always
Hmm.
bet on yourself too. If no one else
Yes.
believe in you, if no one else bet on you, you can always bet on yourself.
Hmm.
Um, what messages you hope women take away from your sis story?
I will say the same thing. Choose yourself. That it's okay to choose yourself and that you don't need to sacrifice yourself. Like I think we sacrifice our well-being, our future, our mental health, like our spiritual health, emotional health. We sacrifice so much for other people. And to recognize that you are the star in your story. We tend to make everyone else the star and we become the supporting actor. You are the actor, you're the main actor, you are the winning character in your own story. And you got to start treating yourself that way and start living your life that way and start making decisions that way because nothing moves unless you do. Yet and still, we act like we're the supporting character. No, you're the main character. Everything moves because of you, and we got to embrace that.
Yes, main character energy. I love the
Main
winning
character
character
energy.
energy. I love
Yes.
that. If your sis story had a title, what would it be and why?
The reclamation. The reclamation, because that's what I think my journey has been for years is like reclaiming my narrative, reclaiming myself, getting back to myself, getting back to my essence. My this right now is my reclamation story. Mhm.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me.
Thank you so much for doing this. I definitely commend you on everything that you do. You are such a light that deserves, to be well known.
Thank you,
Your
friend.
voice
So are you.
matters.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your voice matters. Everything matters. Like, and I miss you so much. It's been
I
so
miss you
long.
too. I know. I'm so
Yeah,
glad that we got this chance to just talk and chat and, it's been a wonderful interview. Thank you for having me.
no problem. Oh, please tell the people again where
Oh,
they can follow you or love your handles.
yes. So my TikTok, I'm just on TikTok right now. I can't even get on Instagram just yet. But on Instagram, I'm Audacious Black Girl. TikTok, it's dot just JUST underscore Manda, MANDA. And then on Substack, you can look up my Substack. It's Marriage to Death by 1000 Cuts, where I talk about all those cuts that women experience. And I'm sharing the stories of women that experience those moments of emotional neglect, abuse, and abandonment in their marriages or relationships. And then a podcast of the same name will be coming out shortly as well. But you can follow me on my platforms and you'll get the updates.
Yes, thank you so much for everything. And audience, please follow me at Mastering Me Brand and SIS underscore royalty for my women's community, and they're both on Instagram. I love you all. Hope you enjoy the rest of your May.
Bye, everybody.